welcome TZRLs. Part 2 of the snowy pine throw will be how to make the appliques. Let's do this. And basically what we're making is a triangle. So you'll gather your 2 strands. I have a J hook, whatever you can use that you can still comfortably work with 2 strands. So go ahead and make a slip knot. These go very quickly. Once you have your slip knot, you're going to chain 2. Once you've chained 2, you'll go back into the first chain, single crochet 1, and do that again, single crochet 2, and I'll show you what that's going to do. This tail now, that is actually the bottom of the triangle. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. So now this is what I'm looking at. There's 1, I have 2. From this point on, we're going to start working back and forth, and we're going to continue to increase on each row. This is all just done with single crochets with 2 strands. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to add my increase at the end. So here's my last out of the 2. I'm going to put 2 single crochets here. So you can see that little triangle starting to form. Chain 1, turn your work, and go across again. From this point, it's just up to you how big you want that crocheted applique to be. So you're just going to continue to go across like this, adding your increase on the outer edge. And what brings the dimension now is when you decide that your triangle is the size that you want it. See how that curved and it popped up off? It has a nice rounded edge. This is where that happens, because now all we're going to do is we're going to pull that top in. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to create loops in these top stitches. Pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop. I'm just loading my hook with all of these. I'm just going to continue to go across. Last one over here. And it won't matter, just put it anywhere where it feels comfortable to you. So you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 right now on that hook. Now I'm just going to yarn over and I'm going to pull all through all of those loops. And as I do that and snug it up, you can see that creates that rounded ridge at the top. And then you slip stitch it together and snug it up. And that's it. That one's done. I would cut that off. Now let me let you see how that looks. See how it created that top ridge? It makes a nice border right there too. So then when you're ready to applique this to an afghan or a throw, I would just cut off, pull through, and you don't need to weave in your ends. Tighten that up. Like I said, all that does is pull it together. If you wanted a fatter pine cone, you would just add more increases on the side, maybe one at the beginning and one at the end. But by loading that up, it creates the top of that pine cone. And then when I want to applique this down, I just fold these, tuck them under, because they can just hang out inside that pine cone, because then it's going to be stitched on. And I just used a needle and thread and held it in my lap so that I didn't push it down or stretch the actual comforter, and I just started whip stitching around the edge, and it left that popped up middle piece. And then all I did for the pine, basically I just wrapped this around about 15 times. I cut across here and here to where I had a little stack of 2.5 inch pieces. Cut one longer piece and I just tied it in a knot. Tie this strand as tight as you can get, just like making a pom-pom. And I just tied that twice. I just cut away if there's a long strand or two. Then once that element is sewed on, I take my hook and I just fed it through wherever the top of that pine cone, wherever I wanted that to be, just one strand. And then I just tied that really tight and then cut the strands to match. And it just turned out beautiful. Nice way to add a really professional looking touch to some of your projects.